All right, it is 6:30. We'll call our meeting to order, and we'll start off with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we'll have the roll call.
Hayward,
Yes.
Rickroll,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Collister,
Yes.
Elias,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Okay, next, can I get a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Collister, seconded by Bennett. Any discussion? Then take the roll.
Rickroll,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Collister,
Yes.
Elias,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Hayward.
Yes.
Okay, next is public participation. Is there anybody who wishes to get up and address the council on any matter other than the presentations by our wannabe council people?
Hi, I'm Nicole Shipley, 901 Timber Drive. I've been following along as I was also considering running for city council, so appreciate the great work that you do for the community. As I've been engaged in coming to discussions throughout the past year and beyond, some of the things I thought about is we're putting these candidates through presentations and understanding what motivates them. A thought that I had and something that I sometimes leave with is that in coming to these meetings, I don't hear much dialogue. I don't really understand where people stand on certain issues. I think discussion would go a long way with informing and educating the public on where you all stand and kind of the why behind some of the votes. And I just think it's appropriate, just given what we're putting the folks that are going to be up here today coming through. I think it's also important to be open-minded. I think there is beauty in differences in opinions, difference in personalities. So being open-minded and considering different viewpoints other than your own is something important, especially when decisions are being made that affect a community. So especially with this being an at-large seat, again, I had noodled on doing this myself. I just didn't know that I'd have the time to sift through all the documents and really be able to give it my best effort that it deserves right now, not only because of this data center issue, but because there are a lot of people paying attention right now. I think transparency is incredibly important. I think it's important for your constituents in this community to know where you stand and what you support so that we can have targeted conversations with you on things we may have experience or background in that you could maybe learn from and vice versa. So just wanted to share a few thoughts I had prior to this. And again, thank you all for your work and everything you're doing. And to those who considered running, I applaud you and good luck. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Nicole.
Okay, is there anybody else who wants to get up and talk? Dan?
Yeah.
Greetings, all of you.
Hi, Dan.
It's really good to see you.
All right.
See you too.
All right, I guess if there's nobody else, we'll move on to new business, and that is presentations by our at-large candidates for tonight. Josh, do you have any intro you want to make?
Just noting 6A here, the first candidate up for speaking in alphabetical last name order, Rose Frantzen, withdrew her name by written request today, so that puts Kenneth Haley at 6B up first. But before we begin, some outstanding questions here. Your scoring sheets, don't score 10 the highest, 1 the lowest, or whatever. The format we're seeking as staff, and these are all public documents for record, is just first choice, second choice, third choice, fourth choice, fifth choice, just ranking 1 to 5, just so that there's absolutely no confusion and we have the right numbers or the right kind of average put together. Do you have any questions on that before we begin?
We all good?
Sounds good.
I just want to make sure that we know we're having good numbers to average out. So that's your show.
Okay. All right, well, guess we'll start off with the second candidate, Kenneth Haley. Come up. Tonight you got 5 minutes at max.
I won't take near that.
Okay, but that's gonna be the max for tonight, 5 minutes for your presentation.
My name is Kenneth Haley. I go by my middle name, which is Rick. I am a fourth generation Jackson County resident. Been living in Maquoketa 19 years now, coming up with 20 years. Actually, it's been longer, but I've had my current home for 20 years. I've been a single dad. I raised a daughter here. Great school system. We've had some struggles at times, but it fit with the times that were happening. I learned the hard way some of these things that I needed to know about being a homeowner, local resident, Maquoketa, Iowa. And I have a very old house, so I have that war too. But on to the councilman position. I was reading up on it, and it was telling me about the things that I would need to know. And it pretty much told me that my job as a council person isn't to protect any certain ward, isn't to be speaking for any ward in general. It's to be speaking for the town. So I'm a firm believer in having informed decisions. I've been involved in a lot of the recent meetings, and some of the things I saw were really great, and some of the things I saw I thought really needed work, and it was just communication. I think if we all learn to communicate a little bit better and get more information, we'd all go a lot further. You know, I don't believe in anybody jumping the gun. I don't believe in anybody acting on uninformed decisions or speaking out and acting off emotions. That doesn't belong in the city council. I believe that everybody here should have a vote, and everybody should have their own vote and speak on behalf of the people who want them to vote for them. I might not like everything that's presented to me, but if it means the best for the town and it's brought to me in that manner, then that's the way I'll vote. And I think that's just about all I've got to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Kenneth. Rick, hey, Rick, there's 5 questions
5 questions.
that I've collected from the council and kind of formed some common themes around them. So sorry to put you on the podium here for a few more minutes.
Go for it.
What is your vision for the future of Maquoketa for the next 5 years?
For the next 5 years, I would still love to see Maquoketa grow. I'd still love to see us grow in a good manner that doesn't really affect our environment so much. I am a member of the Isaac Walton League. I am also a member of the 6B's campground. And for any of you that have been down there, you'll see how much that place has changed in the years. And I'm very proud of our county. I'm very proud of our city. I'd like to see our parks grow. I'd like to see things calm down at Second Ward Park. You know, and there's ways to do it, but we all got to work together for that. You know, I want us all to be able to be good neighbors.
Sure. What do you believe is your strongest asset that you can offer to the community?
Time and the ability to actually do some research. I'm recently retired, and I found I've got a lot of time, and we've got a lot of projects that I just don't want to look at. But I do believe in doing the research and finding out the things that our community needs and listen to the people that have got good constructive questions and seeing if we can all get together and come up with some good constructive answers.
What are the top 3 priorities you would focus on if elected to the city council?
Well, one pretty much handled itself, and that was the data center. I was trying to find out more information and find out just exactly how much modernization's happened. Find out if the data centers of today could be beneficial because they're common. Find out if we're willing to pay the price that they're willing to pay us to be here. Because the bottom line is we're gonna be here when they're gone. So I want everything to actually work out to the best of everyone's advantage. And I would say work on our school system. You know, these kids deserve a good education. There are things that I see in the school system that I don't always like, but I don't have enough day-to-day participation to find out exactly what is going on over there. You know, you can get generalizations and you find out, you know, like what's going on social media, or what's going on with this and what's going on with that. And it's like, our kids deserve an education. And I would love to see that happen. And then the third thing is, like, I live on Summit Street in Niagara. I really would love to see the neighborhoods get rebuilt the way they're supposed to be getting rebuilt in a timely fashion. And I'm all for it. And I think that's about it.
If the city budget is reduced by 10%, what services would you prioritize and why?
Prioritize to keep or to get rid of?
Prioritize and keeping.
Well, we need to keep the education and whatever city budget we have for that. We need to be able to keep up with our infrastructure.
Excuse me, could you speak into the microphone, please? I'm having trouble hearing
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry, I've got my hearing aids.
I don't have.
Yeah. It's, my voice goes weird because of my hearing aids. I would say, you know, keep up with our education, to keep it, that's the biggest one right there, you know, because our kids are our future. Keep up with our infrastructure so our town doesn't pretty much rot. And a third one, I'd say funding all of the conservative efforts and to keep our town beautiful.
Thank you. Please explain how you'd be able to keep an open mind on issues until all of the information has been studied by you, or how would you move on to other council matters quickly after voting on an issue that you may potentially disagree with?
I believe that once an issue has been voted on and has been voted on properly, then that issue has been something that's been handled, and whether I like it or not, that's the town, you know, general consensus. So that is what it is. When I have an issue and I don't have enough information, I tend to want to refrain from having an actual opinion because I'd like to know what I'm talking about. I'd like to know what our other council people are talking about. And I think our town deserves to know what the issue at hand is. You know, and that happened to be a big gray area with this big issue we've just had. And there's a lot of people, justly so, that were scared. They're in the dark. And my whole opinion through that whole thing is we need more information. You know, and I come from an environment where my union brothers and sisters, some of them build these things. And some of the old ones are pretty dilapidated and they ruin communities. There's been a lot of advancements, there's been a lot of improvements, but that doesn't mean they've gone as far as we need them to go. And until the way you find out is get more information. And if these entities aren't willing to give that, I think that's when it's time for us to pass on whatever they want until they can come back and give us the information we need. I hope that answered it.
I think that concludes the questions. Is there anything you wanted to know more about there?
Anybody?
I'm good.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Rick.
All right, next it's Elias Langlois. Elias?
All right, my name is Elias Langlois. I live at 502 Shoreline Drive with my wife, my 2 daughters, and my newborn baby boy. As of yesterday, my family and I have lived in Maquoketa for exactly 1 year. Also, I'd like to say it's very nice to be able to just talk in a normal voice. I get 5 minutes tonight instead of 3, so I can just use my normal, try to slow it down. I was born and raised in the Dubuque area, and I am the oldest of 9 children. I was homeschooled all the way through high school and had abundant opportunities to pursue my hobbies, which include hunting, fishing, and all outdoor related activities. My education includes a bachelor's degree from the University of Dubuque, where I graduated with honors. My faith in the Lord Jesus Christ is the absolute most important thing in my life, and it is my goal to live for Him and His glory with the life that I have left. Up until recently, I had zero experience with attending or being involved in city council meetings and had no interest in doing so. What led up to me standing here before you today, interviewing for this open seat, was hearing about the infamous July 6th council meeting where the data center was the top issue. Upon learning more about this meeting, I found myself shocked and, might I say, even appalled that a data center was what my city council and city manager had in store for me, my family, and my little city. You ignited something in me that day, something that said, this will not happen on my watch, this will not happen in my town to the best of my ability. In my opinion, this is a pivotal time for the city of Maquoketa. We are coming off of weeks of back and forth over this data center issue. My own personal opinion is it was bungled and mishandled from the start. Though you say you have been transparent, many who you serve would strongly disagree with that. Many, if not most of the people in our town, this is my opinion again, have lost trust in the council, the mayor, and our city manager. It's time for a change. Your goal should be to regain the people's trust. Our elected officials should be elected by the people of Maquoketa who they will serve. They should not be voted in by sitting council members based on weighted averages with unknown variables. Sitting council members already have their own agendas and already are dug in on many of the issues as we have figured out in these past couple weeks that I've been here. If you really care about the people of Maquoketa, you should let them pick their council members. It seems disgraceful to me that you would rank the candidates today based on what we wear, how we speak, and how you feel like we will fit in with your little clique versus how we will represent and serve the people who should have a voice in electing us to that seat right there. So with that, I would ask that you make it your ambition right here, right now, to scratch this current process, this current interviewing process, and let the people of Maquoketa vote on who will fill that seat and who will have their best interest at heart. And with that being said, again, I'm learning how this works. Is there anybody who would vote, who would agree with that and say, I do think, especially in light of all the issues that we've been having since the data center has come to light, is there anyone who would say, I do think the people should have a voice and say and tell us who sits in that chair and not the council who we've been embattled with since July 6th? Is there anybody up here who would agree with that?
We're all elected to this seat. So you do have a say in that seat, and you will on the next election. If it were my choice and I wasn't here for that election, I would have voted for a city election. But we are all elected, and you have the choice to vote us out in the next election. So we're elected to make decisions for the city, and that's where I stand on it right now.
So we're completely locked into the process of the council is voting in that seat. There's no chance that anybody up here would say.
That's what they
'cause
decided. I'm sure you
The people will
could.
watch us. The people will watch us, and I think all you want to be trusted by the council, by the people who elected you to serve them. That would be a big step in moving towards trust.
That's your opinion.
Yep.
There is a process. for
We're all elected,
petitioning- For
Elias.
petitioning for an election. I don't personally know what it is, but I know that we go through this and then you can find out if you wish to try that process. That's up to you to do it, not up to us to do it.
Okay.
And just as a point of order, we cannot vote on changing anything in this agenda. We have to follow it, because it didn't make the printed agenda before it had to be put out.
Fair enough. I'm just standing here before you saying, I think the people should be able to vote that chair. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
What is your vision for the future of Maquoketa for the next 5 years?
The number one thing I would envision for Maquoketa in the next 5 years would be no data center sitting anywhere near our city. I would do everything within my power as a councilman to make this a reality. I would like this council in the next 5 years to be considered the most transparent council in our city's history. The people should never again have to worry that elected city officials are working for their own good and not for the good of the people that they serve. In the next 5 years, I would love to see industrial center growth take place. I am pro-growth. Growth with lasting and steady benefits for the city. Growth that doesn't include climbing into bed with data center companies, which will chew us up and spit us out as soon as it's convenient for them. In the next 5 years, I would like to find creative ways to capitalize on tourism. And then one example I had was just as me and my family walk down Main Street, we see all sorts of shops that are empty or under construction. There's a lot of empty buildings. It would be good for the city if those were full. I would like to work on trying to fill those up with meaningful business.
What do you believe is your strongest asset that you can offer to the community?
I think my strongest asset to offer this community is the willingness to be transparent. That's a word that keeps coming up. I believe it will continue to come up until it's addressed. I have been on the other side of this transparency issue, and it is a terrible, terrible feeling knowing your elected officials are seemingly working behind your back. In my mind, true transparency would include no closed-door meetings, ever. No signing of NDAs, ever. And council meetings where questions are welcomed and encouraged because we want to hear from the people who elected us. It would be my goal to have the full confidence of the people who I would serve.
What are the top 3 priorities you would focus on if elected to the city council?
Some of this is redundant. I would work to make sure that Maquoketa does not bring in a data center. I would work on rebuilding trust with the people that we serve. This includes full transparency again, and committing to signing no NDAs ever. And lastly, I would work with the council and the city manager to bring in companies to our industrial park that will bring lasting jobs and benefits to our community.
If the city budget is reduced by 10%, what services would you prioritize and why?
So I had to Google this answer. I didn't even know what services we offer. From my understanding, what I came up with was, number one thing I would prioritize is utilities and environment. I believe water, sewer, and trash are vital to the health of our community. Number 2 was public works. I do believe they play a critical role, especially as it pertains to keeping the streets paved and cleared. Having a well-maintained city encourages growth and community pride. And lastly, public safety. There's probably a lot I could say on that issue, but I do believe in law enforcement and fire protection are crucial to the well-being and peace of mind of our citizens.
Please explain how you'd be able to keep an open mind on issues until all the information has been studied by you, or how would you move on to other council matters quickly after voting on an issue you may potentially disagree with?
So I wrote down, I would be able to keep an open mind on issues as long as I am fully informed on them, and the public is as well. That would be something like I would really stress is the public needs to know. That's kind of like what I believe you said. Communication, like communicate with us, please. I understand that I will not agree with every decision that is made, and also understand that after something is voted on, it's time to move on to the next topic. I do understand that part.
I do have something that's bothering me quite a bit here over the last several meetings.
Yes, sir.
You've come in here and displayed a considerable amount of animosity and disdain towards council, staff, mayor. And if you were elected to this office, how are you going to get over that and work with the people that are sitting up here that you've had all that animosity and disdain for all this time? And how are we supposed to trust you in that?
That's a fair question, yeah. And I would like to almost ask a question in response to the question, but I also want to give you an answer. One thing I have done fairly recently after the first meeting was start to try to reach out to individuals of you. I haven't been able to talk to all of you, but I have had some conversations that have been meaningful to me at least with council members, the mayor, and the city manager. So I have started to develop relationships, I would call it, or at least a working relationship where I call it, with me and Josh the other day, I call it a peace talk. It's the Cowboys and Indians both meeting off the battle line, sitting down saying, what's going on, how are we gonna move forward without both killing each other, metaphorically. And I would like to ask, do you feel like any of my animosity, as you call it, was warranted by the way that the council has treated the people, by the way multiple people have said there's been a lack of transparency? It's not just me.
I think,
There seems to be an issue, and also it's been addressed several times with I just call it smugness almost. Not from every single one of you, but there is a smugness in this room of like, we are better than you, when it should not be that way. Like, it shouldn't even be, there shouldn't even be a hint of that. It should be, we are public servants. We serve you, the people. There should be no like, I am better than, there shouldn't even be I should never feel that from my elected city leaders.
is there a question in there?
Do you feel like any of it was warranted? Any of the animosity, that, as you call it?
No, because I don't think that you completely understand that we have a set of rules that are governed by laws that we have to follow. When you're in here for a public statement, that's your time to make a statement. That's not a question and answer period. There has to be a special meeting set up for question and answer periods. That's why you're not getting answers during these meetings. That's your time to stay your opinion and then go sit down, then the next person. We got to go with the laws and the way the rules are written. We can't just make them up as we go along.
Understood. And again, we are lay people. We're not professionals like you guys sitting up there. I call you guys the professionals. We are lay people. We are trying our best to work with what we have. We have asked questions, maybe when we shouldn't have, but we've also gotten some answers when we ask those questions. So you guys have been inconsistent with, we never answer questions. Sometimes you do answer questions, which is why we ask. Anybody else?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Rhonda Pape.
Good evening, council members, mayor, city manager. Thank you for letting me appear before you this evening. And as you know, my name is Rhonda Pape. I live at 208 Austin Avenue, and I've resided in Maquoketa for more than 40 years, current address for 41 years. I graduated from the Maquoketa School District and have a business associate degree from Kirkwood Community College in computer science. I am married. I have 3 children, 8 grandchildren, all of which live in and around Maquoketa. I am and have been an owner of several businesses in Maquoketa for the past 30 years with my family operating supplemental insurance services, and for the past 40 years I've owned rental and housing companies providing housing to Maquoketa residents. When my children were young, I operated a daycare, got licensed by the state to have 15 children and an employee. In 2006, I retired from IT, where I had worked for over 20 years. During that time, I had taken many continuing ed classes and became a project manager for the company. I founded Supplemental Insurance Services in 1996. It's an employee benefit organization. We're licensed to do business in most states in the United States, and I basically there at that job, I counsel employers, human resource departments, and employees on health insurance and supplemental benefits. Our agency assists in the design and coverage and implementation of employee benefits. We consult with many different groups, small groups, large groups. Our insurance business is fast-paced and demanding, involving daily, timely decisions made on benefits and claims that affect people physically, mentally, emotionally, and their financial well-being. These decisions require fast fact-finding and accurate analysis of a situation. Then owning rental property requires a person to wear many hats. There is, of course, the business side of it, collecting rent, taking care of repairs. And I believe in a safe environment for all families. And in addition to that, you need compassion. you know, when life gets hard for a person, you need to be compassionate about their situation. I also feel that you need to respect. It's their home. They live there. And then I think one of the big things that rental property has helped me do is to listen and find a resolution with the tenants, with the city. I think that that's a big part of the rental business. I also truly enjoy celebrating when my tenants can actually buy a home. That is like the goal. And I'm also really pleased to see that the housing inspection ordinance is working well. I was on the initial committee that helped form that. My hobbies include my family, particularly grandchildren and their activities, sports, music, theater. I love gardening, camping, biking, and traveling. Over the years, I've been active as a 4-H leader, Jackson County Food Stand member. I was on the board for Imagine the Possibilities. And I'm going to date myself a little bit here. I was on the Cable Commission back when we had to actually stand there with a camera and do the city meetings and then put them on Channel 19. I'm currently a member of Kiwanis Action Club and the Historical Preservation Commission. I have recently reduced my commitments to supplemental insurance services and feel that I can devote the time and energy to the city. I'm applying for the at-large council member because I'm proud of Maquoketa. I've always been interested in the affairs of Maquoketa and followed the developments over the years. I think,
You're down to 1 minute.
sorry, I think I've told Josh in the past that I watch those YouTubes faithfully. So I've recently reread the 2040 vision for Maquoketa, and you of a council have made great progress in reaching the goals. To mention a few, the downtown Main Street programs, the splash pad, Glovic Park. I feel like you've continued relationships with the schools, the hospitals, and the chamber. And I'm proud to live in Maquoketa. I hope to contribute to the continued growth and progress of Maquoketa's future. I make no promises to you other than I will work hard as a council member, learn what I do not know, treat fellow council members, employees, and citizens with respect and kindness. I will make myself available to the citizens of Maquoketa as they are all invested in our community. So thank you for your time.
Right on the mark.
All right.
Thank you, Rhonda.
All right, fire away, Josh.
What's your vision for the future of Maquoketa for the next 5 years?
My vision, what I would hope would be to have a significant employer, something that maybe has in the range of additional 50 jobs, maybe $25 an hour pay. I'd like to, I think recreation is a big thing, and I'd like to be able to complete an additional recreation project, whether that be finishing a bike path or possibly doing something along the river. And then the Grant Wood Loop is probably a passion of mine. I kind of love the idea of connecting Prairie Creek and the Interpretive Center and out to the caves and being able to actually connect some of what I feel are a valuable resource in our community. And I feel like with those things that we have the possibility of growth in our community.
What do you believe is your strongest asset that you can offer to the community?
I feel like I'm fairly objective. I think that in the past you will see that I am being on the committee that formed the inspection ordinance. I mean, we worked for months to come together for a resolution to that issue. And I guess in being objective, one of the things that's just about me is I like to research and find out as much as I can about something. Listen to everybody, and just try to form an opinion from all of that.
What are the top 3 priorities you would focus on if elected to the city council?
I guess my priorities, I feel like the people of Maquoketa are searching for job opportunities for them, maybe higher paying job opportunities so that they can have a good quality of living. I would like to see more, I hear a lot that there's not a lot in Maquoketa for teenagers to do. I don't know if that's something that as a council member we can, address or not. And then I just, maybe marketing Maquoketa would be my next one. I feel like we have a lot of assets and I'm not sure. Maybe because I live here, I don't know how we market it.
If the city budget is reduced by 10%, what services would you prioritize and why?
So I thought a lot about that one when I read the question, and I think that safety has to come first. Our police force, our fire department, the safety of our residents, which might mean streets, it might mean it might mean, like rental ordinances, or it could be, like just things that would keep our community safe.
Please explain how you'd be able to keep an open mind on issues until all of the information has been studied by you, or how would you move on to other council matters quickly after voting on an issue you may potentially disagree with?
So again, I think I'm fairly objective. I think I try to approach everything with an open mind. Of course, everybody has that first initial thought, but then I think if you back off and you start to listen and start to research, I think that you can come to decisions. I believe that respect on the city council is huge for all of the council members and for the community.
Is that it? Anybody else have anything to add?
All right,
Okay, well,
thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we'll have Dale Scott.
Thanks and good evening to everybody. Dale Scott, 815 Niles Street. I was raised here in Maquoketa, graduated Maquoketa in 91. It's already 35 years ago as my wife is planning our reunion and keeps reminding me. But graduated from here. I did move away for a better part of 20 to 25 years in other places in the country. I lived in San Diego for a while, hated it. Lived in Denver for 15 to 16 years area. And then I lived in southern Missouri for 5 before I finally came back home, which is what I've been trying to do for the 10 years prior to that. But I did it, and I did that over 10 years ago now. I'm kind of semi-retired. I have been for about the last 6 years. So I was semi-retired before the age of 50, which was a big goal of mine because I sacrificed a lot in my younger days to get there. But we started a company. I co-own a intermodal trucking company out in Denver that we started with 3 trucks in 2010, built it. I built the entire dispatch system that can be done remotely at any time, and it's live updated with all of the employees that we have. We have built that into, we have 9 office personnel and we have 20-some drivers, and we went from them 3 drivers and just 2 of us working on it and building it to having those kind of employees now, and we do about $6 million in revenue yearly right now. And we're looking to expand. Out of that 9 office personnel, I have hired 3 people locally. And I will be hiring more here locally that can do the remote type jobs that are needed, that are able to be doing it without having to be in Denver, where that's all of where our work is at. So I'm pretty proud of that. We also are pretty company that we still pay health insurance premiums for our employees, and that's our biggest cost center, and it only gets worse and worse every year. We also offer a 401k program that we also match. So we do pretty well for the employees. That's why I want to hire more people here as I grow, because I do have plans on that in the next coming years. Enough about the work, but I come here, I had been kind of thinking about running for a seat over the last year. I was kind of going to talk to Tom about his seat when he would decide he wanted to hang it up, but and I had talked to Don Schwenker about it and asked his thoughts and stuff like that. So when this came up, I was like, yeah, it's time to dip the toe in. So that's what I did. I come here with no agenda. I don't have an axe to grind with anybody. It's not an easy job. I get that. I do have the time for it. Right now, I feel my free time. It's great getting up every day and not knowing what I'm going to do that day until I have my 3 cups of coffee and I'm awake. I might go play golf. I'm a member of the Maquoketa Country Club. I might play farm sim on my computer for a few hours, all while keeping pulse on what's going on in Denver as well. I also work at the KMAQ radio station. You might have heard my voice on the radio before. I'm a guest host every week on a Friday talk show called Just Sports, although it should be changed to Just Sports, etc., in my opinion, because we sometimes get off on tangents. But do that every week, and I also do the local high school sports. I'm very involved with the athletic boosters as well, and doing the games on radio. And I used to do it on TV through a YouTube channel as well, through MCSN, which when Koloff Media bought KMAQ, there was an alliance there that we knew each other. I actually helped him get started with his video deal he did at KMCH when I was doing MCSN.
You're down to your last minute.
I know, I'll get there. So I'm very involved in the community in those aspects with the schools, in sports, athletics, the radio station. I also co-host the parade every year for the KMAQ's simulcast, and we have a lot of fun with that. But like I said, I'm not here with an agenda. I don't have an axe to grind. I'm not here to protect any kind of investments. I just want to make this place great, because I have told people over and over again that have never left, that talk bad about this place, go live somewhere else for a year or 2 and you'll figure it out. There is no better place than right here to raise your kids. And my kids graduated high school here, and that was a big deal to me. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. Well, you hit the mark fairly close.
Well, not as close as Rhonda, I guess.
What's your vision for the future of Maquoketa for the next 5 years?
Continued growth. That is a hard thing to do. And I'm gonna piggyback on some couple of others that brought up things I kind of thought about too. Tourism is a big deal, and you do have some pieces in place to promote and get people here. There's also other pieces in place that can be expanded upon, in my opinion. Like Rhonda was saying about how it gets advertised and stuff like that. I have some thoughts on that. I'd like to get involved with the school and maybe come up with like a student mentorship with city government, where kids interested in government, we can develop mentorships, have them sit in on these meetings and do things. There's your free advertising. Get them on, because they're the ones that know the social media, and that's where the advertising's at. That's where you're going to bring people in. I see it all the time when I'm scrolling through TikTok. The guy that goes around mini miles and all the small towns and stuff like that. I mean, he gets over millions of views now, and he's just driving a car. He's from another country, just driving a car through small towns in Iowa, including coming here. And he gets millions of views off that. And that's what, if he's able to tap into that, it'll get people to come. Every tourist you get here every year just adds to the bottom dollar when they spend money here. So that's a big thing that I'd like to see done over the next few years. The street projects is great. I've actually talked to Tom about that. When's my street getting done? I did notice it's at the end of the list, which is okay, but it's gonna get done. I'd like to see that continue because it is needed. There are a lot of streets in this town that need repaired. I mean, it's rough driving out there in some parts, so that's kind of a big deal. And there's a lot of synergies out there. Like Robert Abbott, I think is tremendous in what he does, and I think in talking with him, there's a lot of things that he could help innovate, bring fresh ideas, the younger ideas, because this town is aging, and you're gonna need that younger kind of crowd, the ones that stay, or actually get them to stay and give them a reason to stay. And I think we need to really incorporate the younger crowd into this.
What do you believe is your strongest asset that you can offer to the community?
Well, I don't know if it's serious asset, but people that know me, I am hyper over analytical. I mean, I need to see data. I won't go count the trees myself. I'll have somebody do it, but then I'll look at the data and make decisions. I'm very open-minded. I've been known to have an opinion about something, talk to somebody. I do ask a lot of questions at times if I'm unsure. And even when I am sure, I'll still ask questions. I can have my mind changed as long as it makes common sense. I'm a big believer in common sense. And I think a lot of people, that's how, as much as I am not a big believer in one size fits all in a lot of things, I think that's the best way to go about it in order to get a majority of the consensus is you got to ask the questions and read the data and how it's going to play out.
What are the top 3 priorities you would focus on if elected to the city council?
Well, the mentorship is something I really have thought a lot about. Other than that, promotion to encourage tourism, which I've already discussed. Another thing is I really think a priority needs to be put into what's becoming a carcass at the old hospital. Something's got to be done about that sooner than later, otherwise there's going to be a big money drain down the road, in my opinion. Without knowing all the particulars behind it yet, just on a surface level, that's what I see. And I've talked to a few people in the community as well about that, and one person, will remain nameless, but had a pretty good idea. If we could get with a developer that could reconvert that hospital into an assisted living facility, one that's cost effective, nice, because you're going to need a lot more assisted living in this community as it continues to age, and they don't have to go out of town to be taken care of. I think there's a big need for that here.
If the city budget is reduced by 10%, what services would you prioritize and why?
Well, I'm going to cut your pay, Josh, for one. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, I don't think that's debatable. I think police, fire, public utilities, and public works by far are the priorities. I think that's pretty much what the other people have said as well. I just don't think there's even a debate about that. Everything else besides that is the gravy.
Please explain how you'd be able to keep an open mind on issues until all the information has been studied by you, or how you'd move on to other council matters quickly after voting on an issue you may potentially disagree with.
I'll just go home and fume, but I will move on. It is what it is. I mean, that's why there's a majority vote. That's why there's multiple people here, and it becomes a consensus. And I was not raised in the everybody gets a trophy crowd, so I believe in majority rules, and life's going to deal you some setbacks, and you just got to roll with it. That it?
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank
Oh, wait, did anybody have a question? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. All right, we made it to the end. Jim Trivette.
Good evening. My name is Jim Trivette, 906 West Farmland Drive. I have been here in Maquoketa since, I think we moved here in '99. I was born and raised in Davenport, graduated from Davenport West. Started working at a foundry not long after that, decided after a while, that's probably not what I want to do the rest of my life. So I started going to St. Ambrose, graduated from St. Ambrose with a BA in Business Administration in '85. Then in '95, graduated with a degree in secondary ed. We ended up getting, like I said, moving up here in '99. I was working at Alcoa, retired from there in 2019. I have been at Blackhawk College teaching in their GED program since 2004. So I enjoy that. It's very rewarding. And one of the things that I like about being able to do things in Maquoketa, there's a lot of opportunities for volunteering. And one of the things I do, I'm on the board for the Optimist Club here in Maquoketa. I'm on the Maquoketa Planning and Zoning Commission. I've tried to instill that in my kids. Growing up, I was a big fan, this may sound corny, but I was a big fan of the Kennedys. And one thing that the dad Joe did instill in his kids was, even though they were wealthy, was the idea that they had to get involved in public service. And they all did. So I think that's important for all of us to, if you get a chance, not everybody's gonna have the chance to do it because of work, whatever it may be. But if you get a chance to do that, I think that's very important. Let's see, what else do we have going on here? With the hobbies and interest, my hobbies, spend time with family. I've got 2 kids, 3 grandkids. My oldest grandson plays football for the high school. My granddaughter plays volleyball for the high school. And then my youngest grandson is 8, and he started playing soccer. So we got enough to keep busy for a while. I like to play sports. In fact, I was at the Y playing basketball with my grandson back in January, and it had been a while since I'd been on the basketball court. And so, but I mean, it was fun, and I enjoy that. Just getting together with the kids, making memories. And so I also like to, let's see, I also like to listen and play music. My grandson, the oldest one, is very, very good on the guitar. I just hope someday to be half as good as him. And so we get together and we'll play. I like tinkering around in the garage. And so the reason I am here is because of the kids. The future is not mine, it's theirs. And at my age, you know, I want to do what I can to try and make sure their future is as bright as possible. And so that's, you know, and giving back to the community is part of that. So that's why I'm here, and that's about the history of me in a nutshell.
Okay, go ahead.
What is your vision for the future of Maquoketa for the next 5 years?
I'm in the Quad Cities a lot because I teach down in Blackhawk in Moline. One of the things I rarely hear is, I'm going to go up to Maquoketa for a day, or I'm going to go up to Maquoketa for the weekend. I wish I could hear that more. Instead, I hear, we're going to spend time in Galena, or we're going to go to House on the Rock, or whatever. And so getting back to points already made by others, if we could somehow promote this area more, I think that would help. There are a lot of things that we need to continue on as far as what we're doing internally in the city, but I think that one of the things that I would like to see is Maquoketa being promoted more, and especially our location. I mean, we're here, and we're highways, you know, half hour, 45 minutes from a lot of locations, and just getting away from those bigger cities might be something that a lot of people would like to do if they knew what they were getting into down here. So let's see. Another thing is I like to run. I'm no Josh Bolt, but I do like to run. And one of the things that I'd like to do is the Bix. So I run the Bix, and whenever anybody thinks about the Bix, they think about Brady Street Hill. Okay, well, we have hills here. And I think we could promote, have some type of a run or something that would draw people. And I think the hills would be something that would interest people. And not as a precursor to the Bix. And so that's an idea I had. I thought, that'd be kind of cool. So, but that's basically where I'm at on the future.
Just so we're clear, I would never run the Bix.
Oh.
I'm not sure I can make it. What do you believe is your strongest asset that you can offer to the community?
My strongest asset is, I guess, 2 points. One, I know what my weaknesses are, and so I avoid those. One of them is doing what I'm doing right now. The other thing is I do listen, and I think that's important, especially if you're going to be, serve the public. You have to be able to listen. And so that's one of the things I think that's probably the strongest one, because once you listen, you can figure out, okay, what the issue is. And then once you figure out what an issue is, then you can try and resolve it. And so I think listening is probably the biggest key for me, and then going on from there.
What are the top 3 priorities you would focus on if elected to the city council?
I did some research too on 2040, and a lot of progress has been made on that, and there are still things we're working on, such as the splash pad and the pool and some of the other things. So I'd like to see that done, but I'd like to see more involvement by people in the governing process. People from all backgrounds. The community is becoming more diverse. And so I think we should be able to have the doors open so everybody understands, hey, I belong here. And so that's important to me, to be able to do that. And just like going to civics class, learning what your rights, responsibilities, and duties are as a citizen. And so I think that it's important that the doors are open for everybody.
If the city budget is reduced by 10%, what services would you prioritize and why?
Basically the same as everyone else has said, fire, police, basic services, anything that protects the community. Because if the budget is cut for the city, everybody else's budget at home has probably been cut too. And so the basic needs have to be met for those people also. So that's how I would prioritize things.
Please explain how you'd be able to keep an open mind on issues until all the information has been studied by you, or how you would move on to other council matters quickly after voting on an issue you may potentially disagree with.
When I vote, I would vote with a clear conscience, so that I know I can sleep at night. It may not be the same way everybody else votes, but I would vote the way in my heart I should be voting. And if I can do that, then I shouldn't have any problems. We don't want to get to the point where we're just like Washington, where they don't get along. They answer everything with anger, hatred, vitriol, and so we don't want that. We want to keep everything calm. If there are issues, then we can take care of it. But we just need to get along. And I think one way of doing that for me, voting what my conscience says, and then I'll be fine.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we move on. Item 7 is reports and communications. Anything from any of the council members?
I just want to say congratulations to all you candidates. This has been an eye-opening experience listening to this. You don't get to see that and hear that in an election. Those are usually, when someone's running for an election, it's on our end, we don't get to hear what we just got to hear. And I really appreciate all of you and the time you took to come up and answer these questions. I know it probably wasn't easy for some of you, but I appreciate it.
Okay.
Second that.
Anybody else?
Thanks for coming
Yes.
and being part
Thank
of
you
it.
all for coming. All right, city manager?
I just want to maybe throw a quick word in about the alleys, which the Public Works Committee of the council knows that this is one coat of two. Second coat is likely in a month from now. A lot of signs on alleys have been pulled for people to drive on, and that may seem confusing. It's kind of their normal course. I'm intending to find out more information, but this product was really well received by Dyersville. That went really well. It didn't come without plenty of studying. So I know it's new again, and this type of work is maybe a bit curious, but I just would plead anyone in the public to stay patient with our Public Works Department as they're finishing up street improvements and ceilings through this season. In particular, the alleys, which are kind of the focus of the back half of last week and early this week, is there's another coat coming as well, and the work isn't finished, but the product needs to cure over the next couple weeks for sure to get lined up for a second.
Okay.
What I've seen looks good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Not everyone shares that opinion, so.
Welcome to government.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we got a motion,
Second.
second by Bennett. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.